OCO. OCO. All right. How's everybody doing? Yeah, I hear you. That's same with me. And yes, it is me. Scary, ain't it? I'd run for the hills if I was you. Hey, I hope everything is well, and I hope that y'all doing well tonight. And kind of just waiting for, we'll be waiting for others to show up. We are on live on Old Fart Talk, Warhorse Experience, and Rumble. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about aliens and the evil among us and the other paranormal subjects. And even possibly even into some of the cryptids that are out there. And I had some videos that I will share tonight. Not very many, just maybe two or three. But right now, I'm just kind of waiting, not only on anyone to show up. We got one viewer, all right, but for a few others to show up, and then we can get this show on the road. Uh, got storms coming in, and the way I understand it, it's not going to be as bad tonight as it was last night. It was pretty bad. It got real hairy here in Arkansas. Oh, yeah. And I tell you what, when it gets like that, I want to go and run to my Frady hole. Because I tell you what, I am totally tetrified of storms, especially when they're bad. Uh, and those of you already know, you know that I'd already had been almost struck twice by lightning and got temporarily blinded from that, from both instances. And I had a close run-in with tornadoes once. I think I was around 15 at the time, I think. And that was, maybe I was 16. Anyway, that was too close for my comfort. And ever since then, yeah, I've been literally tetrified of them. But I'm glad that, though, if anything, I guess you could say that I live here in Arkansas, not in Oklahoma and Texas, and especially Kansas. Tornado Alley, if you ever did speak of one. All three of those states, Tornado Alley. And especially if you're in Kansas, ain't many places you can get to hide, or cover, all flat land. And I don't like flat land. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Now, Oklahoma is not what you call necessarily flat, no. And parts of Texas is not quite necessarily flat, but it is a good portion of it. Oh, no, not for me. So earlier it was rumbling and stuff, and I was thinking, oh no, dang it! No, I hope that the weather people are right. That tonight it's not bad. You will know it if I get cut off. You say, oh well, dang it, that storm done hit there. Yeah, you'll know. And then don't worry, just hold me in your prayers. Say a lot of prayers and smoke, and I'll be fine. We all will here. My other family, we all could use that kind of prayer. Tell you what. Anyway, um, let me see if I can find that file, the first one that I wanted to pull up. La 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 la. Where is it? Ah. Um. Okay, I got it here. I'm just waiting for someone to, pop in and a little bit more. If not, well, then I guess we'll just get started anyway, and maybe eventually they'll pop in. There's a lot of a lot of live streaming going on right now, and I know that. And there's people, hey, there's people got to work too. So anyway, I guess what I could go ahead and do is I will sit there and I'll pull up this first one. All right, this one is UFO encounter leaves burns, brain damage, Pentagon. Okay, hey, oh, still there, bro. Okay, hey. All right, I'm going to pull this one up. Because these is really interesting. A lot of people don't want to believe in UFOs. They think, nah, that's just fairy tales, that's sci-fi stuff. Well, hey, a lot of these people don't believe in it. The ones that don't believe in spooks, they don't. Heck, they wouldn't even believe it if a charging elephant was escaped from the zoo and was on a rampage and was coming right towards them. They still wouldn't believe it. Yeah. That's sad. Even when you're staring facts right there in front of you, the people are that way. You can't please everybody. So I just look at it either. Hey, you either believe it or you don't, you know. And that's all I got to say about it, But it does exist. You got UFO, the aliens, and you got ghosts, different types of spirits, demons and fallen angels, and you also got cryptids, like the rake, Bigfoot, the skinwalkers, you name it. They're out there. Okay, all right, let's start with the first video. And let's take a look and listen to this one. Okay, let me hit the right button.
Studies these things, joins us from Tucson, Arizona. Nick, have we ever gotten to the point where there is hard evidence that there is something visiting our planet from another planet?
No, we're not quite there yet. But what we have seen over the last 3 or 4 years is this subject coming out of the fringe and into the mainstream. We've seen multiple videos, US Navy videos of jets chasing these things, tracked on radar. We've had some of the pilots and the intelligence people talking about them. And now we learn that this is an ongoing situation, and it's not just UFOs. Frankly, they've been looking at other things which sound like they come straight out of an X-Files script.
When you hear pilots describe what some of these things can do, the Tic Tacs and the like, confirmed UFO sighting, Southern California coast, 2004, 2019 by 3 or 4 different ships, eastern seaboard near the United States, 2014, 2015. I have no idea what that map is, but we do have a graphic of where are they and what are they. Confirmed UFO sightings. There we go. Off the coast of Virginia, 2014 by the FA-18s and the like. What is the chance that these are nothing more than the next evolution of stealth fighters or the next evolution of things that are being tested at Area 51? And of course, the government's going to say we have no idea what they are because they don't want our enemies to know about it?
That's certainly possible. I mean, one theory is that this is next generation aerospace tech, secret prototype aircraft and drones. Some people say it might be US tech, secretly tested on one part of the military by another to see how we react. And of course, there's another theory that this is adversary technology from Russia or China, for example. But, the extraterrestrial hypothesis is out there too. And all of this is why Congress is now taking very close note of this. The Senate Intelligence Committee in particular, but the Armed Services Committees in both the Senate and the House are looking at this. There were multiple UFO provisions in the latest defense bill. So people are taking this seriously.
Okay, before I go on. All right, now, this is a fact. A lot of people don't always take all this stuff seriously, as a man said. Now, the thing is with UFOs, all right, that's an acronym, right? Unidentified flying objects. Now, some objects can be man-made, but yet unidentified. Some by maybe other entities and beings, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that all said, I would say, yeah. Hey, Osio. Hey, Matt. Yeah, anyway, I think with a lot of these things, yes, some can be probably identified, but not identified at the moment type thing, Then you have others, okay, that there's just no way of identifying whether it's man-made or if it's from unknown origins, like, ooh. So, I mean, hey, these things do exist. It would be a fool to deny it. And, this one guy, he is talking about that. Hey, OCO David, how's it going, bro? How's it going? That, now one thing is that with these aliens, these flying crafts that are really suspected of not being man-made. People don't want to believe it, but the thing is, you can't deny that there's footages, and I'm not talking about fake footages. I'm talking about even known footages from government officials, from military, that these things are the speeds that these things are clocked at. It's like astronomical. Like, wow, there ain't nothing on this planet that is man-made that is known that can even move that fast. But hey, I found out, and I didn't even know it, that there is also another base. Actually, it stems from, or I should say, it's part 2 of Area 51, and it's called Area 52. I never heard of Area 52. Area 51, I have, but yeah, they have some strange stuff going on Area 52. And if you're out there caught, unlike with Area 51, you can get in trouble at Area 51, but Area 52, it becomes more of a scarier experience when you're dealing with the governments because they got tighter security there. Yeah, okay. Enough said. Here he goes.
You worked on this for the government of the United Kingdom. You were in the Ministry of Defense researching UFOs and if there was extraterrestrial life and the like. What do you think has changed now that it went from sort of the fringe people who wore tinfoil on their hats and stood outside Area 51 to now this?
Well, I think there has been a realization that this is a serious defense and national security issue. And I think part of that has come from within Congress. People like Marco Rubio, for example, have spoken out quite strongly on this. But the other thing is we've just got a lot more evidence than was previously the case. We always knew pilots see saw these things, but it's the DoD themselves that have recently put some of this on their website. And what we've seen recently is the Defense Intelligence Agency also doing massive document dumps, releasing, literally thousands of pages on this, and there's more to come.
Short of a couple of little green men landing on the south lawn or the north lawn of the White House and saying hi to the press corps there, or landing at the next Super Bowl and dropping in. What is the bridge between these videos and we know that whatever this thing is, it is not human?
Well, I think part of the answer will be satellite technology. But of course, the problem with that is that all that information is going to be highly classified. The other thing is, of course, science. We've had the recent launch of the James Webb Space Telescope. And if there's something in our little corner of the galaxy that's not us, well, maybe that will be the instrument that finds it.
And right now, you would put the percentage chance that in the next year to 18 months, we have that link is what?
I don't know, but much stronger than it ever was. I mean, we're closer than we've ever been, I think. If they're out there, we're closing in on them. And it will be the biggest discovery in human history, for sure.
You said we're closing in on them. We just hope we're closing in on them faster than they're closing in on us. Nick Pope, fantastic analysis. We really appreciate it. And, if people say hello to us, we'll be giving you another call.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when you're dealing with these aliens, UFOs and stuff, I mean, yeah, like you was mentioning about satellites and stuff, I mean, yeah, they can track all these things, but you know how the government is. They're pretty hushity-hush, and that's sad. I mean, but if we was in, everyone's got different views on this, but my view is if we were now still living like in the 50s and 60s and such, well, I could say I kind of would see the government's part on trying to keep it hushity-hush and keep people from panicking. After all, they did come out with all them movies and stuff on UFOs and aliens and stuff, what was it, Orson Welles, he did that radio thing on the day the Earth. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Matt can't see in chat there, David. The fiasco that happened with that, I mean, the way it was done, even though it was like I think it was around Halloween, they did the, you can't see him either. That's weird. That's weird. It might be because I don't know. I'm guessing here because I am broadcasting to going live on three different destinations here. It's Old Fart Talk here and here on Warhorse Experience and Rumble. And it says down here, can't post comments to some destinations. That might have something to do with it. But you know how the that went when Orson Welles did the it was War of the Worlds or something like that. Yeah, you knew how that people their mentality, how they handled all that and stuff. Of course, they didn't know that it was just a show. It wasn't real. Some did, but a majority of them didn't. But the thing is, now I would think that it would be a little foolhardy now not to be sharing all the information there. You know, of course, I mean, they need to look at it. The government should look at it this way. Even their enemies ain't going to necessarily believe that they have all that, or they might believe that they do. You know, it could be used as a dead taunt, or however you say it. But anyway, yeah, yeah, and you're right, bro. That was War of the Worlds. Yeah, that's right there, David and Danny. Let's see. I got another thing here. Let me see. Where did is that sucker? All right, we'll get it. All right, this one says UFO caught on camera. Pentagon confirms leaked images and videos are real. 7 News. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Confirmed a strange and unexpected sight captured by Navy personnel off the coast of California. The video shows flying pyramid-shaped objects hovering above the USS Russell and another warship.
It was leaked by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. He's also shared 3 images from the USS Omaha showing an unknown spherical craft. The Pentagon has confirmed its Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, what a task force that is examining the footage. Creator and editor of ExtraordinaryBeliefs.com, Jeremy Corbell, joins us now. Jeremy, incredible vision. What sets this apart from other UFO sightings captured in the past?
Yeah, it's a pleasure, David and Nat. Nice to be with you. Nice to be with you, Australia. This is a truly global story. What separates this footage compared to other UFO footage you might see is that the U.S. Navy photographed and filmed these pyramid-shaped UFOs and transmedium vehicles. And I obtained, as a journalist, and released some of this historic footage with my mentor in journalism, George Knapp. And this has now, as you said, been directly confirmed by the Pentagon. So that is significant in and of itself, how quickly they confirmed that these reports are contained within their educational briefings for individuals in the military.
What's a transmedium vehicle?
Great question. So important. What they witnessed with the USS Omaha was an object that was able to break the air to sea barrier without destruction. So transmedium means it can move between air, space, and sea without destruction or impact. And that's what they're seeing with these true unknowns.
So the US Navy, someone on a ship attached to the US Navy shot it, did they?
Well, there's a lot of sensor systems on these ships, as you can imagine. I only released non-classified or unclassified imagery I was able to get my hands on, those videos. That's a hard thing to do. But of course, there are other systems that are completely classified. These are highly documented. Look, they're coming to our warships and surrounding them on a mass scale. And this isn't the first thing. This has been going on for a long time. You're just seeing an open government policy now to talk about it.
The Pentagon is expected to release a report on its findings in June. But what do you think it's going to show? And will they be honest?
So this new candor is astonishing, after so many decades of outright lies and, along with ridicule by world governments. I mean, the US government, the Australian government, the UK, they're all guilty of it, and they all work together on this. But what we're seeing now is we're seeing changes in that environment. And that's what has started this congressional dig into this UFO topic and this, report that we're going to be getting. Well, now, because of what I released with George Knapp, they've got even more to talk about and explain.
So you're saying our government's been lying about extraterrestrial life along with the US government?
Whatever this is, whatever is represented by these advanced aerospace vehicles, I'm not saying it's extraterrestrial. I have no idea. That would be our government's position to tell us. But they've been lying that this has been happening. And so now the cat's out of the bag, toothpaste out of the tube. We're seeing a different type of attitude of world governments. And frankly, it's good. We have a right to know and a need to know as public in America, Australia, and around the world.
Yeah,
We will
it's
keep in
something.
touch when that report comes out in June. We'll talk to you again to see what it reveals.
Yeah. It's
that'd be
something up there.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining
you'll
us.
see more.
So what was your thoughts on that? Hey, you know, if anyone wants to, I got the link there. You can try to come up and be on a panel and discuss this. You know, the aliens or UFOs and such on the, you know, we all have different views on what they are. But see, you know, the facts lie that if you really look at the facts, not on speculation, but on facts and going back in history, all right, you will truly find that there is a big connection between them, the aliens, the UFOs and stuff that we see today, that they are connected to the past. And in that search, researching it, looking up, you will find that there is a deeper and darker connection. All right. And you will sit there and find that and then this again, we go right back into the realm of the supernatural, the paranormal, and everything. You know, it's like it all converges into one thing, right? So, I mean, you're looking at fallen angels and their byproducts, you know, because a long time ago they experimented with mankind and all this. And you think about it, back in those days, people would have seen them as gods, you know. And then when the fallen ones had relations with women, and then they had children and they were the giants, well, they referred to them as gods because these were the children of the gods. So, I mean, you got all kinds of things right there. So then, you know, you look at everything that's staring you in the face, you know, and you come up with something that really should make you scared, you know, put the chills on your back, you know, the old goosebumps. Because, all right, we all use the phrase, oh, that one's evil, or that's evil, man, you know. Oh, you're back. All right, there you go. Yay, there you
Hey,
go.
Warhorse.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm glad
You
you
are
came
on
back.
a topic I know a lot about, and so does my friend Ancient, and so does my dad. I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head with all these connections between the fallen ones and UFOs and all that. I mean, you are right on topic here, right on
Yeah,
point.
I believe that one has to look at facts. You got to go back in history. Some people will only stop and just go so far and leave it at that, but they have to go further. Because if you only just stop to one point in your search and going back in history, your conclusions can be, you know, left iffy, you know. But you have to, in any research, no matter what it is, like, you know, I'm not an archaeologist, but what I've heard from archaeologists, you know, yes, they have clues and everything. All right, but they have other things. All right, the things, the artifacts that they find, history, and everything that they can go back to rely on. And there's other things that it's involved in where they piece all this together to come up with a solid fact. You know, but if you only stop just so far, or if the evidence only stops dead cold, then you're left with nothing but a speculation. However, with UFOs, aliens, and all this, the giants and everything, they're all connected. And have a beginning to where it first started, and you can follow it all through. And people throughout in other countries in history all verify it, that they have existed. And the thing is, when you're dealing with evil, all right, it's a fact that evil is something that corrupts. It destroys. And when see some people, they think, okay, if they're talking to let's just use this for example, that they're talking with aliens from they think is from another planet, they think they're good. They assume that everything that these aliens are saying to them is truthful. Now, how many criminals that you've ever seen in history and, in papers, news footages, and whatever, how many have you ever known to come out and just tell an absolute truth?
Not too many.
I mean, how many even would really admit, yeah, I'm a murderer. I killed a million of them. That is when they're only suspected with no hard evidence, just suspected. How many do you know that would come out and admit?
Well, yeah, there's a few, but most of them no.
Yeah, I mean, that's like if you interrogate somebody, like say your neighbor, you're suspecting that maybe that they might be pedophiles and children murderers, but there's no evidence, so you keeping an eye on them. So, and maybe you tell your other neighbor that this is what you suspect. So they think, well, maybe you're being ridiculous because they're too nice. So they go over and they say, are you a murderer and a pedophile? And they say, well, no, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And then they come back to you and say, well, see, now look, they were real nice. I asked them outright, and they like, no, they're not. All right. The question is, how many people remember that? Let's see, what was his name? Oh, dang it. Remember, I know the name. That fella, they did a movie, The Fire in the Sky.
Oh, Travis Walton case. Yep. Travis Walton.
Yeah. Travis Walton.
That was a very odd case. And the
Yeah.
movie totally went, off the wall
Yeah.
compared to what really happened to him.
Well, that one guy, that Joe, let's see, what's his name? Joe Rogan, interviewed him on his show. And you can find it, you have to look, but you'll find it here on YouTube.
I've been following Travis for years. My dad started.
Yeah.
God, I did. My dad pretty much was pretty big into the UFO field, and so is my friend Ancient.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I find that the whole experience that the man went through was a fascinating story in itself, and he wasn't lying.
yeah. My dad remembers that case very well. He remembers that one, the Barney and Betty Hill case, and all the other cases like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah, he was a little. I think my
and
dad was
people,
like a little kid when they.
and there was some people that thought he was lying, and they thought his friends were somehow responsible for his disappearance. But when he commented himself about the movie, he said, in certain parts, that it just wasn't true.
Hollywood just, how Hollywood is.
All right, now, but the thing is, what it reminds me of. Yes, I believe him, 100%. But what I also see is what you call the Stockholm syndrome.
To an
he,
extent, yeah, that is what, a lot of these people get implanted, and you don't know what these implants are doing to their minds.
yeah, exactly. And and he
And
said,
a
he
lot
had
of it is like
time to
there's a
think
lot of
about it.
shadow memories where
Yeah,
you think one thing happened and something else actually happened to him.
yep. And and a sad thing is that people, when, all right, like the ones who get abducted by these beings, these entities, all right, they now some see them as nothing but evil. Then you have the others, which we would refer to as like the victims of the, like the Stockholm syndrome thing.
Yeah.
And see, their memories of the events is distorted somewhat.
Oh, quite
On
a bit.
like in the case of Travis, he did experience everything that he said. It did happen to him, but his because he had time to think about it, and sometimes your memories can play heck on you, like with your about your captors, and he's like, um, how I don't know if I can get the right wording out here. Um, that he was doubting that they were of evil intent. Otherwise, why would he? According to him, why would they?
Well, not directly, but indirectly, yes, they do have a lot of them do have evil intent.
Exactly,
The
exactly. That's my
aliens are
point.
kind of like being like robots. They're controlled by others, and the
Right.
others are the ones that you have to worry about. They are the ones that are
Yeah, because
primarily evil. They don't want to work directly because everybody knows them too well.
see, what a lot of what they don't realize, like what I think he failed to realize, um, and a lot of the people that have been abducted by these entities, all right, is that their intent was not good, even though, yeah, they were returned alive. But I plan on my next other live streams covering on this subject. I was wanting to show where some of these victims, like with the women, uh, they had ended up
Oh,
pregnant.
the women. Oh God, you're hitting on something else.
Yeah,
Yes, the women getting pregnant and
and
going
then they
almost to term, and the babies disappear.
right, and you know
And
what
some of
else
the
is weird?
religious fanatics have like
And
these cover things where
yeah,
they saying,
and you know what is really weird?
"Oh,
That after, oh, see old standing bear.
oh, country boy, what's up?"
Yeah, that what was fascinating is that these women, after they ended up getting pregnant, and then the babies disappearing from the womb, was that these women's their uteruses was messed up. They could never have another baby again.
Yeah, I think, and there's one woman I've been like keeping an eye on. She's like a really like religious fanatic. And she's like talking about, oh, I was going to have a baby, and the baby was miraculously taken away. And I'm like looking at this. I'm like,
Yeah,
God, this is like an alien experience.
yeah,
But
exactly.
she's saying God and the angels had something to do with it. I'm like,
They're nuts.
no,
Yeah.
no, that's what you want to believe, but no, you were abducted, impregnated, and the baby was taken, harvested,
Well,
and
exactly.
yeah, and it's a hybrid now.
Exactly. And like some of these ones that they called the black-eyed children, they are the byproduct of these,
Absolutely, yep.
you know.
Yeah, another one. Yep.
And I would like with those who would volunteer to, to help look up the information on the next live, to share that information with everyone. We'll
Oh boy.
share each of our findings. I find this is really something. A lot of people miss this totally. Well, I'm glad to have you jump in anytime there, bro. Standing Bear, you're always welcome to jump in anytime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, even if it's just for a minute or two, yeah, we're always glad to have you. Always. Um, the interesting thing is, all right, these people at some point or somehow with this abductions and stuff, they also at some point or at time they end up suffering through radiation burns. Um, there's been some who actually had radiation poisoning, you know, and of course, you know, you got people well, let's face it, some people just wouldn't believe anything if it's staring them in the face. But when you got facts, that's what you should go with. And if you don't have enough facts, well then just keep looking. Don't stop. If you're on to something that you know to be the truth, don't give up on it because people should know the truth. Now that's like, all right, with the there is a place there in Brazil or somewhere in South America or in Brazil, somewhere around over there. Okay. Uh, excuse me. They had the and if you know or someone else knows and I'm wrong on it, correct me on which one it is, area there in South America. It's called the City of Giants. Now, of course, Smithsonian Institute love covering their butts.
Oh,
All
absolutely. They
right.
have so much hidden in. They got more stuff hidden in their basements than the
Oh yeah.
Vatican does.
Oh yeah. Exactly. And they found all right, but there were
Oh,
some people that had evidence. They and I forget the name of the guys. If I can find it, get his name, I'll mention it next time. Uh, he was an explorer, and some others had discovered this city of giants. And they actually, this is something the Smithsonian wasn't able to uh, totally hide because, you know, too many of the photos managed to survive and escape the Smithsonian's clutches. All right. And the thing is, they found bones and tools. And these giants ranged in height from the bones, and they having a full all the bones there all arranged. You know, no no monkeying with them or anything, just with what was there. There was they had giants ranging from height starting at 15 foot to
oh,
35 foot,
absolutely. And believe
and
it or
they
not,
had
that is the
footprints
actual height of
in
the
and they
angels.
got footprints in stone,
Yep.
bro. I mean, like they had like one footprint. I mean,
Oh yeah.
dang, that thing was huge, and I mean it's about maybe about this wide, if not wider. I would say a lot wider actually, because there was several of them in there. But one was about this wide, one was about like this, and they're like long, big feet. You know, I mean, and of course the Smithsonian tried to hide that like they do everything, all the other bones and stuff. You know, see, because all right, there's this theory that people came from apes. And in evolution, you start out from something small, right? And you go bigger, you know. But see, here's something that existed way back in a time when there wasn't supposed to be uh, people because there was all dinosaurs. Then they found footprints of humans alongside of the footprints of dinosaurs and what have you, right? So they didn't like all this stuff that was going on. So they covered it up and they made sure of it. And but the thing is, no matter what a person's belief system as far as evolution goes, the facts are is that the one thing is undeniable. All right, there were and are, all right, first of all, you have fallen angels. And if you got fallen angels, that means there is a creator. All right. And that creator created everything, just like it says in the book of heaven. So that verifies that. Of course, unfortunately, you got nutcases that out there, you've seen them, bro. But anyway, the thing is that these beings were created by a creator. And you had some that revolted and they were kicked out and they were exiled on this earth, this planet. And, well, they weren't happy about their situation. And their head leader, Lucifer, some even call him Satan and the devil and the dragon and what have you, but he's the leader of the whole bunch. So, it's like, hey, you want to do this to us? We'll show you. They wanted to try to stick a perpetual finger in the eye of the one who made them, right? So started messing with all of the creation, corrupting it. But I don't have enough time, and even tonight, let's stay all night on this. But I'm kind of jumping ahead a little here. But through time, as you went on, all right, ended up being a flood. Well, naturally, you can't kill a fallen angel. They're different beings altogether.
Absolutely not. They can only be bound.
Yeah, because they had started. One of the reasons, the big reasons why there was a flood was that mankind got corrupted by these fallen ones.
Yeah, they did, and it's happening all over again.
Exactly. And all right, like I tell people, all right, if there's somebody that may have a religious view that may be different than their own, that's fine. But you got to look, if they're telling something that has facts, listen to them. If you don't want to listen to their religious views, that's fine. Because we all got different views and stuff. But when it comes to facts, follow the facts. Like you say, follow the money, honey. Follow the facts that are there. And there's a lot of them that you can find on YouTube that have facts. Don't care a crap about so much as what one's own personal religious views are. It's the facts that speaks volumes, right? That's what you pay attention to, because the facts will tell whether something's true or not true. And we all got religious views, but you got some that are just nuts,
Yeah,
it makes you wonder if they got abducted.
They're getting even nuttier now.
Yeah, you got some, think, okay, that one's their mind been fried.
Oh yeah. The newer ones, they don't even recognize the Bible anymore. It's like the Bible is like a 2,000-year-old whatever, and we don't want to know anything about it. We got our own little personal Jesus here, and that's it. Everything else is out the window.
Well, the book of heaven, the Bible, is history.
Oh, absolute history. Yep.
And there's been proven over of it. People think, oh well, this Christ didn't exist, and this one, that one didn't exist.
Yeah, they're getting to that.
Archaeologists found evidence of it.
Absolutely. They know where all the Moses sites were, the rock and. They know exactly where those sites are. One archaeologist actually found them.
Well,
they're not where they thought they were either. They are
right. God, that's like the Ark, right?
Yeah.
All right. See, you got some people say, well, the flood was just a local event.
No, it was a global event.
No, I'm afraid not, because if it
Oh yeah,
was,
there's
then
gonna be another
why
flood too. There will.
worldwide, even though they had different stories and accounts of it, it all said the same
Well,
thing:
you look at all the
a
Hopi,
worldwide
you look at all
flood.
the Hopi
That's right.
history. They saying, Earth has been around for a long, long time, and there's been 7 or 8 major destructions, and
Right.
we are on like the 8th destruction, at
Eh,
least 8.
yeah. That. I mean, look, they found the ark. You know, uh,
That's
and
the Ark is still debatable, but a lot of
and
the
and
sites
and
where
the thing
Moses
was,
was, they know
I laugh
exactly
at the
where they
ones
were.
who say that a great meteor destroyed the dinosaurs, and I was kind of like, well,
Yeah, the
if
larger ones, yes, the
you
larger ones,
know, I
they
know
did, but
all of us have different views on it, but I go by facts. If that was the case, explain how come we're all here today. Because dinosaurs and man existed together back in that time when this so-called meteor or asteroid, this big cataclysmic event happened and wiped out all the dinosaurs. Well, it would have wiped out all mankind.
well, not if they went underground. A lot of them went
You
underground.
know, so I mean, it's kind of like,
Even though some native tribes even say that. They said, yeah, the
you know,
last flood we had, oh yeah, we went underground. We were
yeah.
warned about it in advance and be prepared.
Yeah, so and then the thing is, just kind of like, and then look at the other species of animals; they would have been destroyed, right? So they got to look. They fail to look at just certain. Um, all right, I'm wording that wrong. They only look at certain points and fail to look at the whole picture and try to get it all together, not just little pinpoints of trying to prove their own theory. And that's all they have. They don't have scientific fact. A theory does not make one theories a fact. We all have theories. Heck, I have you, everyone. We got theories on things. The only way the theories can become a fact is if we can prove it, and thus you need something that can be measured and all this and proven, and then you have a fact, a scientific, awesome, evidential evidence of something that's solid and facts. And people have different notions. I mean, we're human. But the thing is, when it comes to these aliens, they don't understand uh, what these beings are. They don't come from a different planet. You know,
Well, yes, they did originally, but a lot of them,
you
you
know.
know,
I mean, they're not. What I'm
some of
saying
them
is, they're not
were
from like planet Nibiru or or something. They are interdimensional
yeah, but
beings.
the interdimensionals, you can travel great distances by accessing other dimensions, such as there's one called Zero Point, which
And
you
see,
go to
all
Zero
right, when
Point,
you're
you can come
dealing,
out anywhere at any
well,
time.
because when you're dealing with fallen ones, the fallen angels and their deceptions, they're masters of it. I mean, look, they know human beings better than anybody does because they've been around longer than humans.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what's fascinating is that these beings, all right, they have, due to messing around with human and animal DNA and all this, they had created these, what do you call them? These aliens, as we call them, the grays and what have you.
Oh, the
Uh,
Greys, the reptilians.
yeah, and a hold on here. Let me pull that up where I can see that. Um, Stand embarrassed. My dad read it in the Bible before he passed away that the next time the world is destroyed, it will be by fire instead of water. That's true. It
Oh,
says
yeah,
it.
that's what I heard too. Yes, it'll
Well,
be. I mean,
yeah,
burned to a crisp this time.
exactly.
because of all.
And so you got all these aliens, so-called. I say aliens because I mean that's a label that anyone pretty much understands, so that's what I'm using. But these aliens, all right, in the fallen one are the morning star that most people don't realize is describes Lucifer in the Bible.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, uh, that there is a agenda, a master deception. Because, all right, first of all, what human in a right mind is going to fight the Creator and His and Christ and all them when they're coming, the whole host of heaven, and that's who it is, right? And they're coming. All right, what person in the right mind thinking you're going to fight them and win? All right, but imagine this: what would explain that is a deception
Well,
for them to
yeah.
believe that that's the evil aliens. You see what I'm saying?
Well, what it says, one thing that it says in the Bible is that the wheat is going to be allowed to grow up with the chaff and
Yeah,
harvested at the same time. So
yeah.
half the people out there are the chaff.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I mean, you have
Yeah,
a
they're on
deception. I
the other
mean,
side.
all right. Well, look at what you got now. I mean, uh, you got take this for example. All right, and it's a good and it's I think it's a good analogy, I guess. Look at this woke movement, right?
Oh boy, have I been? Oh, it's actually invading the churches right now.
Yeah. And
Oh,
all right, look what they're doing with the
bad.
children. How they invaded Disney World. All
Oh
right, and
yeah,
in the
all right.
schools, and
Yep.
what they're wanting to
All
do
over
with
the
the children.
schools.
And if you go to TikTok and see the stuff that they got on, it's scary.
Yeah, and what did God say about that? What happens to those who mess with the children?
That's right.
They're going to wish they were never born.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, bro, I mean that is so screwed up. And these people, all right, in fact I'll show it to you. There's one thing right here. Uh it's outright scary. Um let's see where is that? I had it here. It all right. The name of this, you might have seen it. All right, this is called Woke Mob Storms Allen West, even on college campus. Now, check this out. Now, you tell me that this ain't evil.
Buffalo student and Young Americans for Freedom president Therese Purcell joins me now. Therese, walk us through what happened to you.
Hey, Todd, thank you so much for having me on the show. So I was hosting Lieutenant Colonel Allen West on campus. He was going to give a speech on how America is not racist, why American values are exceptional. And we got through the speech. We had hundreds of people show up for the speech. We actually had a standby line with hundreds of people who weren't even able to get in since we filled the capacity of the room pretty quickly. And then during the private meet and greet with members, it got out of hand with the protesters. They were banging on the walls. They were screaming, no peace, which I took them at face value that they didn't want peace as they were trying to get in and trying to disrupt our meet and greet. And then it got crazy as we went to leave. So I was following Colonel West out with our police escort as hundreds of protesters around us were screaming at us. And then I was quickly separated from the police as they were protecting Colonel West. And the protesters came between me and them, which is when I decided I was just going to turn and walk peacefully back to my car. And then I realized that I was the target for these protesters, and about 200 of my fellow students started hunting me down on campus, started chasing me, screaming, go get her, go capture her, get the girl in the red dress, which is when I started darting away from them as they were sprinting towards me. And eventually I turned the stairs and was 1 second ahead of them, which is when one of my friends pulled me into the men's bathroom. And we just missed them, thankfully. They were just a few seconds behind. And while I was in the bathroom, I could hear them screaming, where is she? Where is she? We need to find her. We need to find her. And I called 911. But while this was all happening, the mob continued to chase other members members of our club, Young Americans for Freedom. They physically assaulted one of our e-board members. They kicked him, they punched him. It was a really crazy event that we were trying to bring a Black voice to campus to talk about these issues of racism and American exceptionalism. And while they were screaming that we were trying to silence Black voices, we were actually trying to bring this conversation to campus. We had an open Q&A during the event, but instead of asking peaceful questions, they decided to resort to violence.
This is insane. I mean, this sounds like you are in a war zone, not on a college campus in the United States of America.
And that's scary. Now that's scary. Now you got these people, right? And some of the crap that goes through their heads is like, man, they're really messed up, and they'll believe any kind of thing, thrown their way.
Absolutely, yep.
And here they are. They, in a way, it reminds me of back during the '60s, of the anti-war movement, and here they were against war, and yet they were being violent. And you got the same thing again, but worse, but those people were back then, a lot of them were on acid, LSD. Now you got worse stuff. But
Yep.
these people, I mean, people want to deny that evil exists. I mean, it's there.
Oh,
Call it
definitely.
for
Yep.
what it is. It exists.
Absolutely.
And so what is behind evil?
Right.
People don't even stop to really think about that thoroughly. I've heard people that say that they don't believe in a God, a creator, an all-seeing being, but yet they can see something event going on and say that's evil. It's like, well, wait a minute. You said that there is no all good, all-seeing being. There is no creator, but the creator created all things. Did he create evil? No, but he gave all beings and things, especially when it came to mankind and the fallen, before they were fallen, the angels, those beings, he gave them a free will.
I was about ready to say that. Yep.
They had a choice, and they made their choice. It's like people today still, it's kind of like that. They have a choice to do good or bad. And they choose bad,
absolutely.
and then
Yep.
they have the consequences of it. Then they got to blame people or somebody or the creator or someone because they made a poor choice. So you got all these aliens, these UFOs and stuff, going on. There's more reportings of them than any time in history now than
Oh,
ever before.
absolutely. Yeah, especially
And
when everybody has a cell phone camera now.
yeah, and I
And
believe
when we
that
have
one
YouTube,
day everyone, undeniably, one day that they're going to have it right on camera on all live footage. There's going to be a huge mothership or whatever, be over Washington or the Vatican or
that,
wherever they're going to be,
well, that I
and
don't
everyone's going to
think
see it, and they're going to come
so.
down and they're going to pick their man of choice. And oh yeah, you're good. We're here. We planted y'all here. You are our children. Like,
Well, there's going to be a false Christ. He's going to come out in the
oh yeah.
open, and everybody's going to be like flocking to him, and no, not the rest of us. What?
Well, that's the way I see that all of this is where it's leading.
Yeah, pretty much. It's leading up to that main
And
event.
I mean, because let's face it, even with the bad people we got in the world now and the craziness, I mean, people are not going to be at this very moment just accept any Tom, Dick, and Harry that's going to come out and say that this man has all the answers in the world. But you take somebody that's having this thing with aliens, and the aliens come and they're giving, like, hey, we're sharing all this technology with you, where you're gonna have a good life, live longer. We're gonna, hey, we're gonna have a good time. And
Yeah.
these people are gonna believe it. remember
what they
Independence
did.
Day where those people were out there on top of that big
Yeah, top of the roof.
skyscraper?
Yeah. Oh God. Yep. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, people are like that, and
Yeah,
the
a
way
lot of people
everything's
are like
going.
that. Yeah, everybody's gonna be like looking up at the UFO, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, suckers! Bye, boom, you're gone."
Oh yeah, exactly. You're right, country boy. Standing Bear, evil is everywhere,
Oh, absolutely, it's everywhere. Yep.
and
Beware
yeah,
of the false prophets. Yep.
and the good
And
book
I
is
see a lot of them. Oh,
yeah, and also the good book says beware of false prophets, and you got a lot of them. And I mean, all this stuff's going on. So I mean, all right, you got these aliens. You got these big old spacecrafts. I mean, they're there. There's footages. You got abductions. There's evidence of giants. Which all of this really proves that what was written in and is, shall I say, is written in the book of heaven, the Bible, it is true. It's not a fairy story. It's not about it. Oh, it was rewritten. I can sit there and prove that is false.
oh, me too. Yeah,
You know.
we've got some of the books going back to. I mean, some people do have the original copies. I mean,
Oh,
going back to the individual texts,
yeah, and
and they
yes,
have not changed that much.
yeah, there were other
King
books that
James,
were
King
written.
James
Yeah,
totally messed it up, though. He was trying to uh,
yeah, they
make his version of the Bible for the rich people. But other than that, there
yeah,
really hasn't been too many modifications over the
yeah. I mean, you
past
got
1,000 years or so.
I can't think of the word. You might can help me out on this. Uh, it was the well, I know they was called false gospels. But
There was Deuteronomy, and
yeah,
Apocrypha, yeah.
there was a group of
And there were
the Greeks.
Gnostics.
Yeah,
We
yeah, the
call them
Gnostics.
the Gnostics
Yeah,
because they were started by Simon Magus, who was
yeah,
a
that's it.
sorcerer, a witch.
The Gnostics. They came out with
He's
all
the one
this
that
stuff.
started that
And they
movement.
had people that seen all right these well-known people like the apostles and stuff, and all this, and they're getting all this attention. So they, want to ride the gravy train. So they're writing up crap and stuff, and they ended up getting followers too. Except theirs was just make believe stuff, like the Gospel of Judas. Really?
Yeah, a lot of them are false.
Any of us could write that. I mean, gee, I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
called fiction.
the whole thing with Mary Magdalene, that was totally
And they
false.
don't know the difference between.
I know that the whole true story of Mary Magdalene. It's nothing like that the Gnostics were claiming.
Right. And, they, you got people today, and you see the nutcases. They had them back in ancient Rome in the
They had them. Yep.
And you got them today. People will believe fiction more than they will the truth. Truth, it's kind of like up is down, down is up. That's the way their thinking is. They got into thinking that there is an actual matrix ever since the movie came out.
Well, a lot
It's
of the
amazing
problem,
how Hollywood
yeah.
can dictate how these
The
people
problem
believe.
is with a lot of these churches is that they say sola scriptura, the Bible
Yeah.
only, and that is a major mistake. You have to read
Oh yeah.
the history,
Exactly.
the context, and none of these people do that. They don't study the history. They don't, especially with the Catholic Church. I mean, we had a lot of research. I mean, tons
Mhm.
of research. Our saints, had miraculous experiences and all that, and they basically, wrote tons and tons of material on
All
the
right.
Bible,
Well,
and a lot
see,
of these people ignore it.
yeah, exactly. See, most
Don't
people
read that.
don't want
Yeah.
to accept the consequences of their poor decisions of life, their poor choices. So,
No, they
you
don't.
know, if there, you know, and their view is if there is no creator, then then there is no consequences.
Hmm.
You know, in other words, you know, there is no evil, there is no bad. It's a survival of the
I keep
fittest.
hearing that more and more. They're saying, "Oh yeah, there's really no hell. There's well, yeah, there might be a heaven, but no, there's no hell." Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Wait, well, yeah. Wait till the
Yeah,
last
you
day.
know, well, you got some who hold on to that theory that heaven and hell is what you make it. And I'm sorry, we are
No,
not
well,
gods.
there's just
You can't
different
be.
levels of heaven, and there's different levels of hell, and there is also what we call, yeah, and I can't even remember what we call it, but there's a third place. It's like
Yeah,
in between limbo, limbo. Yeah, why can't I think of that
purgatory,
word? Purgatory.
purgatory.
There is a purgatory,
You know, you got
and
see, you
there is
got.
like a limbo on top of that.
Well,
And
there
there's
was
some spirits that say, "No, we're not ready to move on yet." That's
well,
plain and
you
simple.
got
And
all
they
right.
still have free will, you know.
Well, there's originally, you know, let's see what if I'm pronouncing it right. Uh, I'm not very good on pronunciation on words, but I think it's called Tartar or Tartarus or something like that.
Tartarus.
Also, the realm of the dead. You know,
Yeah.
other words, we would say Hades or hell. Originally, hell had 7 chambers. Okay, and each one of those chambers, or however you want to describe it, depending on the person, what kind of person they were, depending on where they went to this place in these certain chambers. And there was just one that was called paradise. It was separated from there. There was a huge um, gulf. Is that the word? Gulf between that and the others.
Oh, yep, yep.
And see, when the Hamashiach, the Messiah, the Christ, when he came, when he died on the cross, for that brief time, that between that 3 days and 3 night period there, he had went down to preach to those souls that were there.
Absolutely. Yep. For
So
3 days.
what?
He was
And then
also in
when
paradise because Jesus, well, a lot of people don't know it was that he could bilocate. He could be in two places at the same time.
exactly, and so
So he was in
he,
both places. People don't understand that.
yeah,
How could he
and
be in
when,
hell? And how could he tell the one robber that, oh, you're going to be in paradise with me?
oh yeah,
Uh, he was. He was in both places.
well, that's like, all right, when Christ uh ascended, all right, he took the prisoners of those who accepted his message and those
Oh,
you know
absolutely. And
with
there's
him,
one little thing in the Bible that is
and they
only,
said
I
that,
think, in one of the God,
well, they said that paradise
in one of
was
the Gospels, they said all the dead rose, and
yeah,
it's only when one, I don't know if it's Matthew, Mark, or Luke. It was in one of the Gospels that they said, yeah, when Jesus, I don't know, after the three
well,
days or whatever, all these people came back to life, and
yeah,
nobody knows
that's
what
like
happened to them after that. They like,
well, yeah, that's
oh,
like
we're back.
yeah, well, that's like, for instance, when Christ ascended, he took those souls with him.
Yeah,
Okay, what happened was that, you know, thus, like Paul later says in the New Testament, to to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So that blows the theory of what is it, soul sleep. See, because they believe that some people believe when you soul sleep, that when you die you don't go up to heaven until the second coming. But
That's
uh,
why there's a lot of spirits hanging around the cemeteries now.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
you
they're like saying
you
they're
have the
waiting.
thing is you have those who you got different cases with those spirits that are here below, on this earth. You have some that it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like each, all right, first of all, they're alive. They're spirits, but they're alive. But when they left their earthly shell, their bodies, they're the ones that did not go or cross over. Basically, I mean, you had some that were scared. They were scared because they like, hey, I wasn't a good person, and I don't want judgment on me because I'm afraid. All right, then you might have someone who had unfinished business, and maybe there
Yep,
wasn't no one that could,
unfinished. And
you
they're
know,
wait. Some of them like lost a child or something. They
yeah,
had a family member left and never came back, and they're still waiting for that person to come back. Centuries
yeah,
later, they're still waiting, and that's why a lot of people think these are residual hauntings because they got person walks to the window at a
yeah.
certain time every day. They're still looking for that lost child or person that never
Oh
came
yeah,
back home.
yeah. Because you got, all right. The thing is, you have to, when you're looking, when you're getting into the aspect of what the Book of Heaven calls salvation and things, and then about resurrection, life after death and things. All right, I know we all, there's a lot of people on this planet because there's so many of us and we're all different and we all have different thoughts on it. But we have to really look what's there. And then, and I think it's up to the creator. If we're confused, let the creator, you know, open our understanding of it, so that our spirits, if we have confusion, that there won't be no confusion in our own spirit and minds. Um, but what we have is facts all throughout, and that evil is present and it is a threat to each individual. And each one of us have thoughts on it.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that we got to look, come together on what is the facts. And the best thing, and first we got to sit there and say, all right, what is evil? All right, and what is good? My papa, I remember he used to give me a lecture when I was a kid, young fella, young man, when I'd get confused about things. And he sat down to me, and to me, it was, at the time when he told me, it was it was almost like who's on first type of thing in my head. But the more I thought about it, it made sense. But he said, son, he said, he says, he said, let me just put this to you like this. He said, let me ask you. He says, do you know what is good? And I said, yes, sir. And he nodded his head, and then he says, well, okay, now do you know what is bad? What is wrong? And I said, yes, sir. And then he says, okay, the answer to all this is simple. And I said, I'm sitting there waiting, like, I mean, this is like the meaning of life type thing, and like, yeah. And then he said, just do good. Just choose to do good. Of course, being a young man, a young kid at that time, I was sitting there thinking, well, what kind of crock is this? That don't make no sense. But I thought about it, and I thought about it, and it's kind of like, well, I guess it does make sense. but but the thing is all right. You got good and evil in this world, and there's good and evil around us. Even in the unseen realms, they exist. All right, we see it from the things that we see, and we see it when we know it from, because the result of what we see, we know it exists in the realms that we do not see. That's like when you go out on the investigations on paranormal investigations. You can run across spirits of individuals, right? That have parted. All right. And then you have, and it seems like in a lot of the cases, not every case, but in a lot of the cases, you find that there are evil, bad spirits. And even though you might not see them a lot, you feel it. You see evidences of it around the place, and I mean, with all the gadgets we got now available,
Mhm.
you're able to measure it, record it,
Yep.
even photograph it, you name it.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, no matter how you look at something these days, like on whether you got people who don't want to believe in aliens, or they don't want to believe in spooks, they don't want to believe in what have you, it's like, well, okay, whether you believe in something or not, just because you don't see it or haven't seen it or experienced it, don't mean that it does not exist.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
And you have a lot of debunkers too, and most of these debunkers, they're paid to say what they say.
Oh,
They know
absolutely.
they yeah. I mean, that's the way the government works.
Yeah, and
They're gonna put professional debunkers out everywhere, no matter what you show them, what evidence or anything. They're going
oh,
to totally ignore you or discredit you.
exactly. Look at what they did with the Roswell incident.
Oh God, that is that incident. Whoa.
Weather balloons. Oh yeah,
Well, look at what they did about the Apollo landings, the moon landings,
exactly,
and
exactly.
there was God, there was a well-known ufologist that was working for NASA at the time, and he couldn't understand why there were people in one of the back rooms trying to figure out ways to debunk the landing. He actually saw it.
Well, yeah,
They
exactly.
were right from day one. They were trying to work out ways to debunk the whole thing. Why? I don't know. Well, I guess just in case something stupid slipped out, like, oh yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah,
aliens on the moon.
and the thing is, the stuff that the government can have had come up with the past, and what they still come up with the present. It's crazy, and yet people want to believe the government. All right, it's kind of like, okay, all right, well, all right. Let's go in history and then start asking people, if you could go back in a time machine, go back in time and look at the people that was done dirty by the government, and ask them, is the government trustworthy?
Oh yeah, and look how many people disappeared and how many ufologists were murdered,
That's right.
especially back in the '60s and '70s.
Oh
God,
yeah.
my dad's got like caseloads of just ufologists that were like murdered, threatened,
Oh
and
yeah. I
had
mean,
other things. And some of the experiences they had were almost paranormal.
oh yeah. I mean,
They were on the verge of paranormal.
they're just full of it. I mean, and people will take their word for it. And but I mean, I mean, can't these people understand, where do they think these men in black come from?
Oh yep.
Because you
Hmm.
know, and you know, the way I have heard it, is that these men in black, yeah, they they
You know
kind of
what?
work for the
My
government.
friend
They're like a
Ancient actually saw a man in black,
yeah,
and he later on, he looked for pictures of the men in black, and it was
yeah.
a picture of the same guy from the 1950s. And here it was. I think it was like he said it happened. His encounter happened
Well,
in the 90s. The same
well,
person from the 50s he saw in the
well,
90s.
yeah. I mean,
Same
look at it this
clothes,
way.
same everything.
Because there was some that have reported that it used to work for the government, uh, and they were afraid to disclose too much information. They was in trouble enough like it was, but the men in black, they're all right. They kind of like work for the government, but yet they're not completely,
Well,
totally,
there's two branches. There's
100% human.
one that work. There's one that works with the government, and there's one that doesn't.
Yeah,
They're more
and they have,
alien. They're
yeah,
mostly they're
they're
like they're
hybrids.
grown up black eyed children, basically.
Yeah, yeah, they're
And aliens.
hybrids.
Yeah,
And
and there's one group of aliens that out in New York State somewhere. I don't remember the town, but they are the damn Nordics. Light skin, tall, long, stringy blonde hair, Nordics,
oh yeah,
and they're living in this town in New York State.
I mean, because you got all kinds of crazy stuff out there, and yet people will accept what the government says. And like, really? All right, I mean, the government, all right, let's face it, on the things that we do know and understand, like with politics, look how much they lie there, right? I mean, it's like, since when can you trust them? I mean, the
Yeah,
very ones who want to control you, all right, they want you to say, trust me. And then there's these idiots that go, oh, yeah, we trust them. I could see there's honesty right there. Hmm?
yeah.
It's kind of like they're the government. All right. And then you got, and it goes to those same people that believe that bunk. They are the very ones who have this little bubble world that they live in. They got a fantasy world that they live in. They don't want to get outside of that because anything outside of it is a threat to them. And if you try to bust their little bubble world, they're going to see, with every ounce of that's in their being, that they're going to just destroy your world, the reality world. They want to destroy you because you're in reality. They're not.
Absolutely. Yep.
And have you ever noticed? All right, I don't have nothing against gaming. I love gaming, but all right, due to the advanced technology, I mean, I'm one of believes that a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it has to do with a little bit of alien technology. All
A
right,
lot of it
and
does. A lot of it does. God, look at everything we have now. There is
that's right.
who would ever think of half the stuff? Who
And I don't think
who
man
would ever
alone
think
by
of
themselves could come up with that.
lasers and all this other technology? There's nobody. Yeah, I was talking with Ancient about it a couple days ago. He says there's no way possible anyone would ever think of something like lasers or even Velcro and all the stuff that we have, technology we have today.
Oh yeah,
Who, what normal person
exactly.
would ever think of something like that? Nobody.
And
Look at
well, look at
Elon
the
Musk.
yeah, look at the gaming
How?
industry. Where they come up now with virtual reality, and they're making
Yeah.
it now that where you could be able to, you don't even have to be present with somebody
Nope.
physically in a same room. They could be thousands of miles away or around on the other side of the globe,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
yet you could be able to still carry on a conversation with them with this virtual reality. And if they touch you, you could feel it, even though they're not there. Smell and all this kind of stuff. I mean, and now the stuff that they come up with, the AI, the robots that they're coming up with, they
Yeah, the
can't
robots are
convince
getting
me that man is so smart
scary.
that they actually just did that by themselves. It's like, no, they
No,
got
no
it
way
from
possible. No.
help through uh
A lot of it
aliens.
was reverse technology.
exactly. It's like one said it. There was some well-known scientist said it that it like the telephones,
Yeah,
the televisions and stuff that they got now, and all this that that is gotten through alien technology.
pretty much. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Is,
You
yeah,
know,
there's no way a normal person would ever think of anything like that.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And if you think about it, I mean, it's scary. If you really stop to think about it, I mean, because it tells us, okay, that we are heading to a, a point in time that, I mean, people like, all right, like us, all right, who, know what's important in life and what is good, what is real, and things like this, that we will become like dinosaurs, extinct. We'll be a threat, total. If any survives, they want to eliminate people that
yeah.
have free thinking.
But what they don't understand is that the sun will send out an X super X class flare, and it's going to shut down everything electronic.
Oh yeah, and it's
Everything.
very true. It's
Sorry,
very, yeah, you nailed it.
all the Bitcoin and all the other technology. Bye bye. Everything's going to be gone.
Yeah, and when you think about it, all right, you got what they call a cashless society, which that mentions
Yeah.
that in the book of Heaven too.
Yep.
Uh, and of course, they refer to it in the the Apocalypse, the book of Revelations. It mentions that and calls that the mark of the beast. It's based on a cashless society. Because see, in a cashless society, the government has total control of your finances and everything. When it says you can't buy nor sell nor trade, well, it doesn't say trade, but you can't buy or sell. You can trade, but you're not going to be able to trade a whole lot. But the one thing you can't do is buy or sell. I don't know where I got trade in there. You're able to trade, but you sure ain't going to be able to buy or sell because they have control over that,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
And so when we go back again, back towards the aliens, alien technology, the fallen ones, etc. Okay, if you think about it, all right, all right, it says that anyone who takes the mark, all right, there's no hope for you. That's it. You might have had that's it. A lot of people don't understand that there was
Well,
more to that.
there is a little bit more to that. Is
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you
All
are
right.
forced if you're forced at gunpoint to do it, yes, there is a loophole.
Well,
But if
like, all
you
right,
like
for
go
one,
for it like day one, say okay, I'll take the chip. You're
yeah,
done. Bye.
exactly. You know,
You're done.
all right, all right, you take a child. All right, Creator ain't stupid. He created every single one of us, right? He knows what's what. All right, so you take a child. They don't have a choice in the matter, right?
No.
Etc. Or somebody that may have been born with Down syndrome or whatever, or their mental uh, com- capacity is slowed down and stuff, so people make choices for them. All
Hmm.
right, etc., and on and on. All right, but now here's a thought. All right, now mind you, now you got to go back to the beginning real quick. At the very beginning, when the fallen ones started messing with man's DNA, the animal's DNA, and all this, right? Keep that in mind. Now you
Hmm.
go forward to now. All right, the abductions. You know how they had the chips in them, right?
Yep. Uh huh.
All right, they were changing their DNA. those things was changing their
Oh,
DNA.
they're doing that now. They are with all these shots people are getting.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
and look at
if you keep that in
chemtrails.
mind,
They've been terraforming.
all right, the reason why so many was destroyed during the flood, during the time when Noah was had entered into the ark and all that, right? And why everything else got destroyed except for the animals and his family and all them, because they were the only ones who
Well,
were not corrupted. Their DNA was not
that was
corrupted.
that was
All
only
right,
one
and
arc.
then
There were
so
more than
if
one
you
arc.
take that in consideration, right? All right, this mark, you know, some people talk about that it's a chip, that it's a literal mark, or it's a chip in the skin, whichever it may be. That somehow or another, it is this thing is altering people's DNA, and so that would explain why, one reason why the creator would say, you know, hey, you take it, no go, because you're not no longer human at that point. But then we go right back into what we just, you know, talking about. You know, if you have someone, all right, first of all, they don't have a choice in it. Now everybody else has got choices, but let's say, you know, now I'm kind of like this. Someone stick a gun to my head and sit there and tell me you're going to do this or not. I'm like, well, heck with you. You know, what kind of life is that? Oh no, heck no. But you got people that are in a situation where there is no choice.
Yeah.
You know, they just
Yeah,
stuck with it, like
some of
a
these people,
kid or
some of these
an
people are going to be
adult. Maybe they're a slave, all right. Maybe they're a you know, they whatever, you know. But you know, you catch my drift, like you
Yep.
was pointing though.
Yeah, you know what? There's like at least 12 or 13 countries where slavery is totally legal.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right.
they're complaining about here? No.
Uh,
Even look at India. You could
oh
be of the
yeah.
same family, but if you have dark skin, guess what? You're the slave of the family.
Oh
If you
yeah.
got light skin, you run the family.
Oh there. Oh, Standing
I've
Bear.
actually encountered that.
Standing Bear. Okay,
All
he
right.
said
Yeah,
he's got
good
to
night,
go to
country boy.
bed. And he got to get up early, take his girlfriend to the doctor in the morning, take care and
Oh,
stay
okay.
safe. Well, hey, you too, bro. I'm glad you dropped in, bro. You're always welcome every time and any time. And you're in our prayers, there, bro. You stay care and hey, tell her I said oh to y'all. That anyway, uh you know, you got all these different things that we look at. Yeah, you take care there. I'm glad you came in. And hey, well, Danny, you take care
All
too.
right. Yeah, good night,
Uh,
Danny.
love you, bro. Uh, you know, you have all these people that have heard the word evil,
Yep.
and you
And
know,
some
yeah, they
people
watch horror
embrace
movies.
evil.
Say
Oh
again?
yeah, yeah. Some people embrace the evil.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
well,
watch
I'm kind of
horror
guilty of that
movies.
too. I do watch horror movies, but
Yeah,
just
you
to
know, I mean,
just to
and
try to
so
understand where
their
people's
their
minds are.
definition of evil is defined, you know, to a certain level, to us, you know, just so far. You know, if you ask them what was evil, they'd probably say, "Well, you remember this movie and stuff, you know? Well, that would be evil." Well, you're like, "Well, yeah, in a real scenario, a situation like that, yeah."
You know,
Uh,
there
and
was
and
oh
but you know, they
yeah.
don't. But they think though that that's in a movie. Now, there's a lot of people though have experienced evil firsthand and know what evil is.
Oh,
and they
absolutely.
can tell
I'm
you.
one of them. Yep, I know.
You know, I mean,
I've I've seen probably 5 or 6 demonic possessions happen on panels
yeah,
since
I've
I've been a
experienced
moderator. I've seen it first, not quite first, but live on the panel. And I'm like, oh my god,
it. Yeah,
when it happens,
I
it is the scariest thing you ever want to see or don't want to see.
exactly,
But
absolutely.
it happens a lot.
You know, I have experienced it in my life. You know, and I've seen it. And excuse me, there, little bit of gas trying to come up there. You know, I'll need to bottle
Uh-huh.
it and put it in the car. uh,
Yeah, well, no, it's considered methane, and methane. No, they don't
well,
want
we'll
you to
just
have
get a
that either.
converter on it.
Well, if you can convert it to like solar or some other energy, yeah, maybe. But no, they don't want methane. They don't want fossil fuels. They want wind, and that no.
Oh
Electric,
yeah.
battery operated, no. Well, you still have to have fossil fuels to make the damn tires. What are you going to make the tires out of? Stone?
Exactly, exactly. You know, I never did understand, you know, the thinking about that.
And yeah, where are you going to get $100,000 for a car?
Yeah, you know, all right.
What's wrong? People can't
It's just like
afford
you pointed out.
that.
Hey, OCO, Paranormal 101.
Hey,
OCO.
Paul, what's up?
Yeah, they sit in which is I think it's just stupid really. All right, first of all, they
Oh,
sit
it
there and
is.
say they want to go green. All right, which, well, I'm all for, you know, going green to a point, but you know, this is just ridiculous.
Go plant the
They
damn
want to
tree.
cut off all the our oil and everything, and look at how much stuff out there is that is made from
Well,
petroleum.
God, pretty much everything. All the plastics, rubber,
Exactly,
you name everything. Even
exactly.
parts of the battery are, yeah,
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
do they
that.
have any idea how many years that would even begin to take place? You know, first, you know, I mean, right now there's just no way that is even humanly possible. And
Yeah, right.
their idea just, you know, just cut off the oil. Let's get electric car. Are they going to give electric cars to everybody? No.
No, of course not. They said,
And,
well, you know what? You can pay. Yes, this is
yeah,
just another way to get us deeper in debt.
yeah, and it's
Basically.
also about control. You know,
Yep.
it's about controlling the people. If anybody ever read the Communist Manifesto, if you know, they would understand what's going on. If they haven't read it, I would
Oh,
suggest read it.
yeah. Yeah. You
and
want to know what's
and it
happening
was
here?
written
You
in like
read
around
all that.
1848, 1849, 1850, something, somewhere around in there. Okay, it reads like yesterday's news. You know, and that's scary. And everything that you're
Yep.
seeing take place in this country is says, all right. First of all, this is communism.
Oh, yeah. Communism, socialism,
Yeah, and
Marxism. It's all coming together.
and that means no freedom. And so, and to
Absolutely
me,
not.
if you take out freedom out of the equation, then we go right back to what we was talking about. You have evil.
You look at Animal Farm in 1984. Oh, that's happening now. Look at the kids are like practically being taken away from the family, and they're coming. Eventually going to come back and destroy the
Oh yeah,
parents. Pretty much, it's just like yeah, an Animal Farm when the puppies were taken away from the mother and they turned into evil guard dogs.
oh
Basically,
yeah,
what's happening to the kids?
oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, it is really bad. You know, you got these people. You know that I've sit there and heard them on interviews. You know, where they're talking to people on the street here in this country. where they think socialism and communism is the way to go. Because if the government's going to take care of them,
Oh
they're going
yeah,
to have it
and
on
yeah,
easy street.
and
They think,
who has the record for killing the most people?
yeah,
Socialists, Marxists,
it's like,
all those
see,
people. Yeah,
they're the ones who believe that everything should be given to them, even though they've never earned it. It should be
right.
given to them free. Even they think respect is
Well,
given
yeah,
to them,
and you attack
free.
all the rich people. A lot of these rich people,
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of them donate to charities, but they don't talk about it.
oh yeah,
There's one there's one hedge funder. He makes billions of dollars a year. He donates it all to charity. All his profits go to charity. He just
oh
keeps
that's
enough
right,
to live on.
exactly. I
Even
mean,
Trump did a lot of yeah. A
oh
lot of people
yeah,
say bad things about him, but nobody knows how much he donates to charity.
oh
I mean,
absolutely.
oh God, he spent probably billions of dollars on different charities over the years. And
You
he
know,
doesn't talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Like it says in the Bible, your
oh
left
yeah,
hand don't know what the right hand is doing.
ain't that the
You
truth?
don't go out. You don't go on a street corner and say, I donated this, I did that, and that. You don't do that. That's what
A
Jesus
lot
said.
of
No,
people sit
you
there
don't
and
talk
toot
about it.
their own horns.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of
I've
some
seen,
people do.
and I'm sure Paul will agree with me too, is that uh, sit there and seen, we've all seen it, examples on social media, whether on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. Okay, where people toot their horns more than anything.
Yeah, yeah. They
Look
do
what
things out
I
public, in
did.
the open. Yeah, even a couple of the ghost hunters, they do that. They go out and say, do little
Yeah.
videos and handing money to homeless people and stuff like that. No, you don't do that.
Oh yeah.
You keep it
I mean, it
secret.
would be one thing, for example, okay, if let's say if brother, if you decided to go out in the street and do something for the homeless people, but you didn't tell nobody what you was doing it,
Oh,
and
a
then
lot of
somebody's bystanders seen you doing it, and they're filming you, and then they post it. You're not tooting your horn;
no,
they
you're
are,
not. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
when these people are going, oh, I want to show you how good a person I am because look what I'm doing. It's
Yeah,
kind of like, no, you're
yeah.
doing it because you want more views, you want more likes, you want people to think you're
Bingo.
a
Yep.
good Joe, when in reality you're hiding something.
Yeah, a few of them were even criticized for it. They're like, why are you
you know,
doing that
but I mean, that
out
goes
in the
right
open
back
like
to
that?
what we talk
Why are
about
you filming that?
evil. Is like when we talk about communism, socialism, and these things, fallen angels, aliens, and things. All right, now look at all right, take a look at Hitler
Yep.
and people like that in history. I mean, that would be a good example of evil. And these people had, these leaders like that
Absolutely.
had, of
Anytime there's
course,
a war, there's a reason for
a
it.
well, they had an agenda,
Well, no, it's
and
not
that
just that.
agenda was not good.
Well, look at the
Uh,
Bible. The
yeah,
penalty for sin is death. If a lot
yeah.
of people commit sins, guess what? They're going to be taken care of one way or another. They're going to be taken out of the equation. And what better way to do that is in a
Oh
war?
yeah, you
Look at
said it.
America. We've been in war. There was only 20 years where weren't actually any wars. Rest of the time, we're at
Yeah,
war. Why? God, look at all the sins that are being committed every day in
that's right.
America.
That's right. That's
And
exactly
that's what's
right,
happening
bro.
in Europe now with Russia. The whole thing with Russia is that this was foretold back in the 60s that if Russia didn't turn to God and certain other things didn't happen, they would march across Europe. And guess what?
Oh yeah,
They're
exactly.
marching across Europe now because Russia didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Oh yeah.
And so
And
they are, and some of the other countries didn't do it either. So that's why there's so much death and destruction over there. It's,
oh yeah,
I mean,
true,
yeah.
true. So I mean, we look every day, and all right, you see these people, for example, they get out and they protest. All right, but is it a protest? It more like rioting,
Oh,
and they
absolutely. Well,
commit
look,
atrocious crimes,
well,
and they
look at
and look at
what
what they
look
use
at
to cover up the
oh
excuses they
God.
use to cover up their crimes.
Yeah,
They
well,
will
even back
say, "Oh, that's racism," or it was because someone did so and so, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're protesting. Like, no, you're not. You're committing crime. You didn't care about like that George Floyd fella. They didn't care about George Floyd. They didn't care one bit about him. They didn't even know him, but they're out there tearing up things, stealing, and in some cases, people got seriously injured or even killed. People's vehicles are getting burned or businesses burned down. So and they cover it up. Well, it has to do with racism, and it's kind of like you prove a point here. That this is evil. Evil exists. They prove this by their actions. A man or woman, or it doesn't matter who a person is in this world. You're When it comes right down to it. All right, anyone can say anything, that they're this, that they're good, or whatever, but your actions speak louder. All right, your actions tell whether you're really good,
Yep, ye shall be
or
known
you're
by your
bad.
fruits.
That. All right, just for example, I think we have all experienced this at some point, like, well, here on YouTube, right? All right, we have had people, that, well, we didn't really know, just sort of, kind of, maybe a little, but we thought were good people, right? And then what would happen? They would turn around and they would do something that say that they weren't and are not what they try to make others think they are.
Yep.
And why is that? Because, see, people's can have either a good motive or an evil motive. And either one, good or evil, will always shine out in your actions. It will tell on you. It takes time sometimes with some people. There's people that we have just now are knowing and we don't know fully, but we will see it one way or the other eventually through actions.
Yeah.
And I
And a lot.
believe that there's two things. All right, there's two sides to every human. All right, me, you, every single person in this whole planet. uh there's two sides. There is a good side and there's a bad side. All right, but the question on which one is that we follow, and how only people can tell then is by our actions on which one of those sides that we
Oh,
chose to follow that
absolutely.
path. You've heard the Native Americans say, hold on, I walked the red road.
Yep.
All right, the red road, it's much deeper, but I can sum it up to this. What it means basically, summing it up, it means that you chose to follow a good path, a good road. That's in
Hmm.
life. That's the path that you chose. That's the red road or red path. Um, so, you know, and you'll hear me say, I choose the red road, or I might mention about someone, that they walk the red road. It means just simply that's the path that we've chosen. Uh, but you know, there's some people though they choose to walk a dark path, and that's a sad thing. You know that
Yep.
anybody, human being, can ever do is choose that. Because I think that when you do that, you're the most miserable person in the world. All right, take these rich, filthy, rich billionaires. You know, see, a lot of people, you know, think that these people are happy, but they're not. They're
Oh, well,
miserable
a lot of them. No, it's
because
just
you can't, you know, money don't buy happiness, and it never can, and it never will.
no,
It
absolutely
can
not.
only give you a temporary fix, you know, like a
Well,
drug.
there's a hole deep inside of them that can only be filled by God. If
Yep,
they don't have God, no matter what they do to try to fill that hole, it's never going to happen.
exactly,
They're always going to be trying to fill that hole.
exactly.
It doesn't work without God.
You know, that's like one person. Well, it was some time back ago. We got talking, and someone asked me if I was a Christian. I told him, I said, "Well, you got to first define what a Christian is." I says everyone's definition of what a Christian is differs.
Yeah, there's like
I said,
40,000 different denominations, and nobody has the same views on that.
exactly. So I tend to look at it this way. I refrain from using the. I'm not ashamed of that word, but I refrain from even trying to even use it. All right. First of all, I'm not a perfect man. I have my faults like anybody. All right, but at the same time, I'm not one who's going to claim to, like, oh, I'm a Christian, and then they say, well, look what he's doing, or this and that. He don't follow way all of the Christians follow. You know, that ain't Christian. You know, like that's why everyone defines what a Christian is as different. Um, I don't like the way people define what a Christian is. If someone says, you know, as a label, a tag that I'm a Christian, um, it makes you, when someone comes out and says, I'm a Christian, is like, well, if you was, then you wouldn't have to tell me this. I could see it without you telling me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, but even a blind person who can't see physically could see whether or not someone is a Christian by their actions and stuff, per se, you know, than just someone coming out and saying, I'm a Christian. I mean, you know, because it's defined in so many different ways. Um, there's nothing wrong with the word Christian or the word Christianity. It is, though, in our present day and age, it has been defined in so many different ways now that,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's kind of like, well, you know, first of all, a person, all right, if they come out and say, I'm a Christian, how many people will truly give that person the time of day? However,
Right.
if the person demonstrates it through actions without
Yep.
saying, I'm a Christian, you know, a person will give
Well,
more,
that's
uh,
yeah.
thought and listen to those people a lot easier than somebody just saying, I'm a Christian. You want to see my good deeds? You know what I mean, bro? I mean, uh, I know there's people I've seen, and you've seen them, people that never said that they were a Christian, but you saw through their actions and actions alone that said that there was something more to those people than anyone else that you've really ever known, you know, that come out and said, I'm a Christian, you know. But, you know, you got so many denominational beliefs and things because, you know, so every one of them says, I have the truth. That person don't preach the truth, but I have the truth. And it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. There's only one truth, and that's the Creator's truth. All right.
Yep.
Not mankind. Everyone has a truth of a sort.
Well,
But
that's
when
like
it,
what
when,
Paul. Well, that's what Paul said. I
yeah,
am a follower of the way.
exactly. There you go. I like that. Now, you summed that up very well. That was well put. That was
Yep.
well said. Because, see, before, a lot of people don't know this, that actually, because I looked it up a long time ago. All right, that the word Christian was used as a derogative term.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was
All
a
right.
Roman
Just the
term.
same way as a person was, when someone would look at another, you're a pig, or you're a bastard, or something like that. Derogative. All right. That was the same way for Christian. All right. It was a derogative word, not a, it, it, it- you know, yeah, a lot of people, and today it's kind of about like that even today, like it was in the days of the apostles, in the old
Hmm.
Roman and Greek days, back in that period of time in history. Uh, yeah, the word Christian wasn't something to look fondly at. I mean, it was like, oh, one of those, you know, oh, but it has to be something more that says that a person, um, let's say, all right, walks the red road, or walks in light by their action, because light shines on them and in them and through them. A person can say anything, right?
Yep.
But actions has really come to speak much louder. And I look at it this way, that if a person, because the real judge of mankind is the one who created man, because he knows what's in man.
Yep.
All right. So the one that, if you're living to walk in his light and please him, that's what matters. Because see, in that alone it will demonstrate by your actions who and what you are. But if
Well,
you
well,
are,
look at James. James totally wrote it out. He said, "You know what? You can preach and send the people on their way hungry, but that's not the right way to do it. You want to feed them first,
yeah,
take care of their physical needs, then you can preach to them. But you don't
yeah,
do it the other way around.
yeah,
I mean,
I've
you take
heard
care
some
of
of
the
these
body. Yeah, you feed them,
missions.
you clothe them, you do all these other things.
Well,
There's
yeah,
some people that
there's
there's people that'll stand on the street corner, hand you a Bible tract, and say, "Have a nice day." And it's like, "Oh, really?
oh yeah.
Really?
Well, there's
Is that all you're going to
people.
do for them?"
Well, that's like, all right, these missions. Just for example, okay, let me give you a couple examples. All right, some of the missions, not all of them. I know that, but there's some of these missions, these street missions. All right, they got a price. All right, and their price is, we will feed you as long as you listen to us, you know, preach. We will feed you. That's not right in my.
Oh, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right either.
Okay, and
Well,
then,
my friend Ancient, he was homeless for like 6 years,
yeah,
and the only people that really did anything in like the homeless shelters that he was staying at, these were the Catholics. They would come in with cratefuls of food, trays and trays of homemade food, and they would serve all these people, and they asked
yeah,
nothing in return. They fed everybody in homeless shelters.
Well, exactly.
Hey,
Uh, well, I've seen. Oh, okay, cool there, bro. Awesome. He's still there.
oh yeah,
All right.
Paul's
For
still here.
example, um, the are those people that go on the streets. You know what they call the street preachers. They go out and preaching. All
Oh,
right.
we have
The big.
hundreds of those in the Raven.
All
Hundreds.
right. The problem. All right. The problem with all right with them. Okay.
It's their own personal
Uh,
interpretation. You
is
know?
well, their big problem is it's more or less like, oh, look at me, listen to me, right? And you're a dog. You're evil. You
Oh
ought to
yeah,
be ashamed of yourself. You're a devil, you know.
yeah, well, there's one group downtown. I'm not going to mention their names, but every Saturday they're on the street corner,
Yeah. And see,
talking
and they
garbage.
don't. Yeah.
Mainly talking. They're like talking racist garbage, basically.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Well,
if you're
I
not
told
there, if you're not one of them, then no, you're just white, whatever.
oh yeah.
Get out of here.
I told this one missionary back long time back. I told him, I said, listen, 'cause, you know, he had been going to the reservation out on the res and couldn't figure out why people ain't listening to him, you know. And he talked about, you know, how much he suffers for Christ and people threaten him and stuff. And I says, okay, I says, I've seen a lot of street preachers for one. I says, you're going out on the street preaching to them, right? Yeah. I said, did you preach to them like you preached to everybody else? And he said, well, yeah. I says, let me guess. If they challenge you or threaten you, you call them a devil or they're a heathen or whatever. I said, all right, you got to understand one thing. All right, you go on the res, all right, and you know he was a non-native, you know, and I just sit there and I told him, I said, listen, all they hear is some white missionary type person.
Yep.
That just because I said, they remember what was done to them in
Oh,
the name of
absolutely. Yep.
Christ by others. All right.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I said, and look what was done to them. It was shoved and rammed down their throat and everything. And they were hurt and they were beat, mistreated, treated like dogs and everything. I said, oh, they haven't forgot. I said, the only thing they respect, I said, because I said, it's like this, your words is wind. I said, you can holler and say they call them any kind of names and you just proven that their point. I said, if you are truly, if you truly believe in what you believe, all right, first of all, you're not going to preach at them. All right. And that's what you're doing. All right. I said, your words is like wind. There is no power or strength to your words. I says, they only respect action.
Yep.
It is by your deeds that shows them who you are if you are to be
Absolutely.
trusted. I said, you're not living among them. You're not demonstrating. I said, you can come out here live on the corner of the res if they allow you to. I said, and still won't hear you until you demonstrate every day of your life you actually believe what you say you believe. If you show them that you are what you profess to be by your action, then they will give you grounds to speak and they will listen to hear and weigh what you say. But if you sit there and you keep that crap up, I says, well, then you're going to get is either scalp, skin, or dead, something.
Yep.
I said, and I says, and truthfully, it won't be for the cause of Christ. It's because you put your foot in your mouth and you said something and you did something wrong. And a lot of these street preachers, they go out and they do something and start trouble, and they tell everybody they've been persecuted for Christ. And I'm like, no, you sit there and just put your foot in your mouth, and you was always starting trouble, and you just got what was coming to you. Because Peter in the gospel warned, in the not gospel, but in the New Testament, in the first and second Peter, he talks to them people about that, right? See, he talks to them about it. Basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but to sum up what he was telling these people was, look, says you people, said you cause people to make fun of y'all, and you get beat up and persecuted, and why? Because you asked for it. He was trying to tell them, look, like you're starting trouble, and you get in trouble. You start trouble, and you're going to get labeled as trouble, and you're not going to be, no one's going to look at you fondly, and they will hate Christ and curse Christ because of your deeds, or that you doing wrong and stuff. And that happens, and you see that when a person claims to be a Christian and doing wrong to other people, what happens? Okay, all Christians, Christ, God, they all get cursed because of what these people are doing. There was that, what was that? Some kind of Baptist church that they had what was,
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Missionary something, Missionary
There-
Baptist Church.
yeah.
Oh boy. Woo.
Oh man, those people were going out and they were insulting, like soldiers, at
Oh, yep.
their funerals.
Every
The,
yeah.
they were,
Was it Kingsborough? It was
yeah,
something
Westboro, Westboro.
Westboro.
Yeah, that's
Westboro.
it.
I know
Yeah,
them very well. I've
and
studied those people. I've read books
those
by
people
those
sit there.
people that have left there.
All they demonstrate is that they're evil.
Oh,
Their
absolutely.
hearts are evil. They try to make themselves look good, but their action says otherwise. I mean, they
Yeah.
sit there and insult people, like at funerals, and he said, "This is because of this and this and that. It's because that one's defended the gays and the lesbians and do this and that." And it's like, no. So they died defending the rights of you idiots. You know, and here these people, they don't see what they're doing as wrong because their hearts are dark. That's why I would say, your actions speak louder than words. See, those people's words have no weight because there's nothing to show that they got anything going uh, for them. To say that they claim to be Christian. All right, they claim that they follow Christ, that they follow the light, but you're
Yeah,
not seeing that.
kind of like the Mormons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
And
yeah.
so you see, all right, there's evil and there's good. All right, and we covered about the fallen ones, the aliens, demons and all these things. And evil exists around us, and a lot of people don't see where in our time, uh, and into the future, where we're going, because evil is so prevalent, it prevents a lot of people from seeing. And the only way that I can figure people can begin to see is there has to be some kind of light, and that light is truth.
Oh yeah.
Now, not everyone's going to see it, but there'll be some, and some is better than none. I mean, because we were born on this earth. You know, we're born. Okay, we are young, we get old, and we die. But see, the thing is, people don't stop thinking about after you die. You know, so the question is where are we going? Where are we heading? What is the state of this world going to be? You know, some think, well, you know, they see that there's just total doom and gloom, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. But you have to you first look for that light. You know, like you know, people tell and investigators tell and the paranormal, you know, trying to help spirits to cross on over to look for the light. Well, I would say for the living, they need to look for the light. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot
yeah,
of spirits. I mean, they're asking for help, and a lot of these investigators are going, "Oh, what kind of help do you need?"
oh
They
yeah,
don't understand that they want prayers. They want to be prayed for.
oh yeah,
They
that's
want
right.
someone to help them like that. That's all they're
Very
looking
true,
for.
bro. Very true.
Yeah, a lot of them got disoriented. They lost that light, and they need
Oh
help
yeah,
finding it. Like when I
that's
went to
right.
that one cemetery, I started talking about God.
Yeah.
Half the spirits in the cemetery said, "Oh God, dear God." I mean, it
Oh
was
yeah.
going on for like 30 minutes. That's all you heard them say.
Oh
And every
yeah.
time I mentioned God, they said God.
You know,
It was
because
like, how do
yeah,
these people want? Uh, I mean, that's what it was
exactly,
incredible. Because a lot of
exactly.
people say, "Well, yeah, all these ghosts are demons." I'm like, "Oh hell no!"
Well, then
And
no, because a
I went out
demon.
to the cemetery. I said, "Okay, I'm going to prove it. I'm proving that they are not demons." So I went out to the cemetery. Said, "Okay, let's talk about God." Boom! Since I did that, they all joined in. I was like, "Whoa!"
That's right. You know, because if something is evil, it
Like,
ain't gonna be holding to what is good and positive. It ain't
they're
gonna be
not going to
looking
say,
towards
"Oh
the
no,"
Creator.
a demon is not going to say, "Oh God, dear God," or anything
Oh
like that.
no,
They're going to be cursing you up and down.
ain't that the
None of
truth?
them were. There was
Yeah.
only heard one growl a little bit, but yeah, he was like in the minority.
Oh yeah. So
The
you I
others were
mean,
saying,
yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah. You can always tell in those situations, bro. When you know whether well, no matter where you're going and you're dealing with spirits, you can always tell which ones is the bad ones
oh
and which
yeah,
ones are good. You
oh
know,
absolutely." I can't automatically. I tell you if something's evil. My
oh
dad
yeah,
will, and my friend Ancient. Ancient's actually the better one. He can
yeah,
actually sense the demon, Lucifer himself. He knows
oh
when
yeah,
he's around.
yeah. Because you can feel it for one. I mean, I
It's
mean,
one of the most god awful feelings you ever want to feel. I
oh
mean, it's
yeah,
like doom and gloom, like something totally evil is going to drop out of the sky and destroy you.
oh
I
yeah.
mean,
And and and
you
I found out.
cannot even comprehend the
All
depth
right,
of that evil.
yeah, and with all right, with Lucifer, which he was called the morning star. He was the most all
Oh
right,
yeah,
he was the most
he was
beautiful.
he was an archangel.
Yeah, he was the most
Yeah.
beautiful of all of the angels. All right, and of course, you know the story. It was his pride that caused him to fall. All
Part of it
right.
was pride, and part of it was jealousy because
Oh yeah.
God was saying this new creation is going to be better than you. In
Yeah.
a sense, you're going to
Eh,
bow down to this new creation, man.
yeah, and he
The way
even
it,
thought
way,
that
yeah,
yeah,
and
he
they
even
said,
thought that he could
no,
sit on
yeah,
the Creator's God's throne,
right,
and it didn't happen, And it was like, well, he might have been smart, but he wasn't that smart because I mean that was pretty stupid, right? So,
yeah,
but all right, but see that what I found out, all right, is that I mean, you can, all right, first of all, usually, I would say over, like, and just putting it on a percentage scale, I would say about 95, 97% of the time you can tell. But on that other small percentage, though, uh, depending on who Lucifer wants to deceive, he can actually present himself, but not for very long, mind you. He can present himself to deceive someone, to make them
Oh
think
yeah.
he's good. And
Oh yeah.
then
He can appear as
an
anyone.
angel of light.
Angel of light, even Jesus. As a lot of these people say that they've encountered Jesus, and
Oh yeah, I mean
Jesus told them to do all these weird
he's a
things, and it's like,
master. He's a
did you
master
question him?
of deception, or he would be the master of
Yeah.
disguise.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the devil really, he is the ultimate prosecutor. He wants to
Uh,
condemn and prosecute all mankind.
oh yeah,
He wants
that's
he
true.
wants to make them all look bad in front of God, the judge,
That's
and
right.
that's his main job. If you want to know, he's like the ultimate prosecutor. And
Exactly.
he said, "Well, this
So
person did that," and Jesus said, he confessed. He, yeah,
oh yeah,
I'm losing words again, but
yeah.
he confessed and he converted and he did all this. Devil say, so still trying to say, but he did this. Well, he was forgiven. Sorry,
Because
but
when you're
I mean that's basically what it comes down to.
yeah, because when you're dealing with someone, well, all right. Look at this way. Uh, you have these movies and stuff. It would be a good example, I guess, where these spies have to be, like in Mission Impossible, for one, would
Hmm.
be that they would have to be good at disguising themselves in order
Oh
to
yeah,
pull things off to get the information or whatever
oh
and do
really?
whatever it is
Yeah,
that they're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
do.
God, yeah, my
And
dad told me about that the original series of Mission Impossible. Yeah, I gotta
oh
see if I
yeah,
look. I gotta see if I find that. He
yeah,
said the series was much better than the movies because it was you had this whole team that was working together doing
oh yeah,
pulling off these like the ultimate con games, but they were
oh
doing it for
yeah.
the. I
I
mean, they had the
remember.
disguises and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the old TV series, and I also remember the new ones that they did with Tom Cruise and stuff. Um, and they did some pretty cool stuff. And but you see that
Yeah,
Lucifer is
they
kind
were
of like that,
yeah, they
you
were
know.
masters of deception.
Yeah. So a lot of
Yeah, a lot of these,
I've heard.
you know.
Well, there was one person, she's like, she's an adopted sister of mine, and she is Mohawk, right?
Oh, much respect to the Mohawks.
And she goes to church, and I always call her a prayer warrior because I mean she can pray, and she got a good heart, but
Hmm.
her problem is that she she thinks that she can uh hold on, that she can defeat the devil because she can always recognize the devil, and that she's not
No.
scared. I said, well, I always called her sis, I said, well,
Well,
sis, I
actually,
says,
no.
you're,
You can't be afraid.
yeah, and I says, you're right, sis, but I says, but you gotta remember this one thing, is that you never have yourself in a position where you get too prideful. I says, because that is where the enemy can work against you if you become
Hmm.
too prideful. Because, she would think that she could attack the devil on his own terms, on his own ground. And I says, well, I says the rule of engagement is never attack the enemy on their ground, but on yours.
Absolutely.
I says because if you're on
And
their
you,
turf,
and you never do it alone. You call for Saint Michael or
that's right.
one of the other
Exactly.
archangels. Say, like that prayer, like that Saint Michael prayer. Defend me in battle.
Because
Protect
people they think that they have, because they're a Christian, all right, that they have enough power and all this, that they can defeat the devil and go onto his stomping ground and just whoop him. It's like, well, first of all, that's his turf. I said, he already comes on everyone else's turf. I says, but the thing is, you go on his turf, and and first of all, you're not really strong enough on your own to whoop him. It's like never think because I'm God's child and I can whoop any evil spirit. Well, if you start getting in that prideful thinking, the old expression is be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. Well, when they start thinking that they're gonna go onto the devil's turf and whoop them and they can do it all by themselves, first of all, you ain't going to win. You're going to come back wounded seriously, so is when you're dealing with evil, you don't, first of all, you don't show fear of evil, but you don't allow yourself to be in that position where you got a lot of pride, thinking that you can whoop evil and you can do it all by yourself, because you can't. Because all right, first of all, we're human beings, and you have to also rely on the creator's strength, not your own. But some of these people, they think, well, hey, I got it. Hey, what you seen in those movies where you get people like they get real cocky, and they think I can do it. Yeah, I got it, and turn around and get their butts whooped, and they come back like a whooped puppy. So I would tell people, don't never think that you're going to whoop the devil because you're evil, because you can't do it by yourself. But you don't show fear of it either. Because if you show fear of something like that, you leave yourself as an open target automatically.
Well, like it says in the Bible, bless those who curse you, and if you come at the devil, the opposite, of what he's doing, it's going to totally screw him up.
Yeah, because I knew someone said once, and they said that they was a Christian, and someone did them wrong, and they were hurt, and I could understand that. I think we all been there. So, but they said something that I had to say something in response. That was, and I know they meant well. I mean, I understood where they were coming from, but they said something without thinking. And they said about the person that did them dirty and really hurt them bad. They said, all right, I will never forget it, which I understand. We don't forget stuff like that, right?
Oh,
but they said
I
the
know
one
where this is
thing
going. Yeah.
that they said, I will never forgive.
Bingo! You hit it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I told that person, I told her, I said, listen.
You forgive everybody. It doesn't matter
I
what
says, all right.
Who they killed.
I says,
you forgive them.
Yeah. I says,
God's going to say,
if forgiveness was, I told her, I said, listen, if forgiveness was easy, then I don't think he would have ever said that Yeshua, Jesus would have never said, forgive your enemies, right? He would have never said that.
No, love your enemies. Forgive your
Yeah,
enemy.
and that's a hard thing to do. But
Turn thy
but
cheek.
but that's the point. You have to overcome that nature of ours that
Right,
gets us
yeah.
in trouble, and it's never easy. But if you do it, and the more you do it, eventually it does somewhat become second nature to you, but our nature generally is like, oh, I'm not going to forgive you ever, but the way I look at it, if you want, first of all, forgiveness from Yeshua, or Christ,
Bingo.
right? All right,
Absolutely.
should you not have that same attitude of forgiveness towards those is
Are you there? Uh-oh, what happened? I think you froze up. Oh, okay. Right. I mean, that's the number one thing is to forgive your
there we
enemy. No,
go.
oh, you're back. You scared me.
Yeah, bad signal here.
Yeah,
But where people they don't realize that you got to show some kind of forgiveness if you want to be forgiven.
that's
That only
right.
makes sense.
And some people have actually encountered Jesus,
Oh yeah,
and Jesus says, how can I forgive you when you do not forgive
exactly.
those others?
Uh, I mean, look what was done to him. How he suffered. Everything
Oh
that was
yeah,
done to him. What did he
everything.
say? He said, "Father, forgive them, for
Forgive
they
them for they
know
know
not
not what
what
they
they
do.
do." Right? And
Absolutely, that's it.
people end up doing things, to us and to others, because they don't. First of all, they don't think. They don't really. When you think about it, they don't really know what they're doing. They're doing it, but they don't know what they're doing. And
Yeah, a
and then
lot
it
of them
goes
don't.
right back to evil again. Evil, you know, tends to deceive mankind.
Well, look at all those mobs that tried to kill Jesus.
Yeah.
That was like that. They had their own woke movement, and they were going after everybody.
Oh yeah.
Christians, whatever. They went after Christ. I mean, they were chasing him, trying to throw him off cliffs and everything else.
Exactly. I mean, people don't stop to understand uh, that if forgiveness was easy, I don't think Christ would have said to forgive. But the thing is, they don't understand. Yeah, that was Christ, but he was not only God, but he was also human. So
Absolutely.
he had
Yes.
that
He
he
was the perfect
experienced.
vessel. He was the perfect vessel for God to work through.
Yeah,
Because God
and
tried working through all these David and all these other prophets, and what did they do? They eventually would go off and get like 100 wives, and the wives would turn
oh
them
yeah.
away. And then it was like finally God was like, God, I'm going to create somebody perfect to work through.
Well, I mean, look
I
what
can't do these people
Christ
anymore.
was tempted. He didn't give in to temptation, but he was
Absolutely
tempted.
not. That's why the whole story with Mary Magdalene is totally false.
Well,
He did not
that's
was not tempted by her. I mean,
yeah,
she,
exactly. He was tempted with the worst temptations ever that
oh yeah,
anybody could go through. I mean, look. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
he could have
The
just.
devil said, "I will give you everything if you just drop down and worship me."
Yeah.
And Jesus is like, "Oh no, 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 sorry."
And look what you get today. You got people that today will sell their souls to the devil to get riches.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was a old priest, Father Malachi Martin, years ago. I've like listened to some of his speeches. He said there are people out in this world that are perfectly possessed, perfectly.
Oh yeah.
There is no good in them. They are like 100% evil,
Oh yeah.
and people have to realize that. A
Oh,
lot of
very
these people,
true.
and in the Bible it says, something about Jesus being taken out of the way so the devil can come out in the open and just do whatever. And look at what has happened over the last 2 or 3 years. Churches were closed, people were pretty much locked up, and all the good, all the good Catholics, Christians, they couldn't go to church. And
Yeah.
look who's out into the streets. Oh, yeah, the devil and all his brethren.
Exactly. You
Yep.
know. So I mean, when you see with that the stuff that a human being, all right, what each one can go through in our own temptations, whatever that may be. All right. I mean, Yeshua, with what he did and what he went through. I mean, he could have been like, okay, yeah, I'm the son of God. He could even went there. He could have like, I can snap my finger. I can do it. But he didn't. I mean, he could have, when people wanted him to, he didn't do everything just because anybody and everybody went to him and said, could you do this for me? I wonder how many like, hey, could you multiply my pigs? Or could you multiply how all this? I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere at some point, though it's not written, somebody might have had those thoughts, might have even tried it and they didn't get it. But the thing is that he was also human, but he
Yeah.
was more than human too. So, but he did not allow, his position, to be uh, where he could have been tempted to like multiply all this bread out in the desert,
Hmm.
and stuff when the enemy came to him to tempt him because he wanted to find his weakness. But his strength was used in scripture against the enemy.
Yep.
I mean, you follow by examples, what I always say, and you have an example right there. It wasn't always easy for him, but he did it.
All right.
So, I mean,
The
hey,
devil knows scripture, and he can twist it just
oh,
in
yeah.
ways that most people will not perceive it. They'll
Yeah,
think, well, it sounds right, but no, there's a
yeah,
little
they
twist
do.
in it.
They do. That's right. They
And the
do.
devil can also work miracles, but he does it for a price. Something else, if he heals one person,
Well,
something is
all right.
happening to
That's
someone else
that.
in their family.
Well,
That's the
look,
way.
that's a good example. All right. Oh, that instance. I might be pronouncing it wrong, bro. You might have to correct me on it. Fatima or Fatima?
Fatima. Yep.
You remember that a long time ago, that incident where they thought that they saw the Mother Mary?
Yeah.
Uh, uh, well, the big story behind that, which wasn't being reported, but there was some other later that came out in that, was that it wasn't Mary that they saw, but it actually was a UFO. When they took pictures, they had
Uh,
them mirrorless type cameras back then, right? So they had all right. The one part where those people with the camera were looking up, they had a sun flare, but but just before but on the other shots where it wasn't Mary there was a disc object that was up there in the sky, and those it was some of those people that were out there at that time ended up getting radiation burns.
mhm.
I mean, some of them had a radiation poisoning in their blood. And I mean, now I know to those people they believed it was Mary, but some things can be deceiving to a person. People can be deceived.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
devil can
there's a
use a
lot of controversy about that.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of times people
Actually,
can
what
have
happened,
their own faith
but
in a
you
way
really
can be
don't
used
know.
against them,
What,
so to speak. The enemy knows how to do that. you know, um,
yeah,
you know,
it is a controversial. Yeah,
yeah,
controversial. Yeah,
people can have.
there's been a lot of sightings of Mary all over the world, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, some of
yeah,
them were actually Mary, but Fatima is one of those gray areas.
yeah. That
A lot of people saying this happened. Well, that happened. They blame it on UFO. They blame it on paranormal. But
well
yeah,
the
my friend Ancient, he actually encountered Mary
well there was those two
face to
girls.
face with her practically, and I don't know who
Well,
was
there
more
was
scared.
no, well there was those two girls with that Fatima were um well, if I can get that article thing, I'll if I can remember it next time when I go up on one of the lives, I'll show that. It's really interesting on the whole thing. Really, I mean, it's you know, because you have all right, and it's about perception on that one. Because some said he saw Mary. Another said that they didn't see anything, and then they had on the cameras because they had people, reporters or whoever was out there trying with the cameras, trying to get footage of it. And but the thing was, there was nothing there that you could even pass off as what's that word, pareidolia?
Paradolia.
Um,
Yep.
there was nothing there that could even indicate that. So. But when they got to really looking at all the footages and stuff, that there was this disc, what they said was a bright light like the sun. It wasn't the sun because the sun was off. You could tell where the sun was, but there was this disc that was real bright uh, uh, in the sky. So that was an interesting thing.
And he lost signal again. He'll be back. But yeah, there's a lot of controversy with Fatima. Yeah, I'm not the expert. I'd have to get my friend Ancient to talk about Fatima and all those things like that. Yeah, the signal is bad. Oops. And I'm by myself.
There I am. I
There
got
you
moved.
are. Well,
This
one
this
thing,
thing here is going nuts on me now.
yeah.
But anyway, what we'll do, bro, is we'll continue this on the next live.
All right. Yep.
And I
Yeah.
want to say thank you, Wado, for showing up.
Well, yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I
you're talking a
enjoyed this,
lot.
bro.
Yeah, you're talking a lot about what I have
And
like the experience in.
oh, absolutely. And I love it. I enjoy it, And I want to say thank you and everybody. And I want everyone to know that I love you there, bro. And I will catch you guys in the funny papers.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, later,
Hey,
everybody.
You take care. Have a good night and stay
Yep.
blessed.
Good night, Warhorse. Yeah.
All right. Good night. Later.